You've got the strategy, now it's time to execute. This is where most travel advisors stall, but we don't pause, we implement. Welcome back to the 3-week Premium Client Challenge. Let's move. Let's be honest, most of the content travel advisors post has nothing to do with what they are really trying to sell. They're posting quotes, memes, destination inspo, supplier photos, a reel here, a caption there, and none of it's building trust, demonstrating their expertise, or attracting real clients. It's just filling space. And I need you to stop doing that because content isn't a to-do list item. It's not a side hustle task. Content is your marketing engine, especially when you're selling a premium service. It's how people decide whether they trust you, whether they value your process, whether they want you, or whether they'll keep scrolling and go on to someone else. This is day 11 of the 3-week Premium Client Challenge, and you're still in week 1. By now, you've picked your strategy, created your implementation plan, defined your offer, and positioned it like the premium experience it actually is. Now, we need to make sure people see it, want it, and take action. This video is all about content, but not the kind you've been told to post. This is content that connects your strategy to your service to your sale. So let's break it down like this. The first thing you need to understand is that premium clients don't respond to generic content, period. End of story. They don't care that the Maldives has bungalows. They don't care about countdown graphics or sales alerts. They care about how they're going to feel, how you're going to help them, and whether your service is worth their time and money. So your content has to do 3 things. It needs to position your offer. It needs to demonstrate your value, and it needs to invite action. Let me say that again. Position, demonstrate, and invite. So let's look at what that actually means, strategy by strategy. If your strategy is social selling, your content needs to sound like a conversation, not a flyer, not an ad. You're using stories, voice notes, behind the scenes, and polls. So here's an example. Last week, a client told me she was always booked. She always books her own trips, but this time she was exhausted and didn't want to mess it up. That's who I work with. Women who are used to handling everything, except this time they don't want to, and I've got them. That's a story that drives DM conversations. That's content that sounds human, that connects. If your strategy is referral network, your content isn't just for strangers, it's also for the people who might refer you. You want to post it in a way that makes others say, oh, I know someone who needs this. Here's an example. If you know a woman who wants to travel solo but is stuck overthinking every detail, tag her. That's who I serve. That's how you turn your content into a referral engine. If your strategy is lead magnet plus email, your content should always point back to your list. Example, want my 3-step process for planning luxury travel without the group chat chaos? Grab the free download and see exactly how I build my experiences. That's content that feels valuable. And when they opt in, you now have permission to build trust on your terms. Email becomes your stage. If your strategy is local partnerships, your content needs to build credibility for people who are watching silently. It's not just about reach, it's about the right people knowing you're legit. Post photos from real events, talk about your planning process, celebrate client wins, share client feedback, even if it's casual. Here's an example. Client said she felt like I saw her before I ever booked a thing. That's the goal, not just travel, clarity. Now, if your strategy is content and authority, your whole game is consistency. You don't need to be viral. You need to be credible. This means sharing insights, frameworks, stories, mistakes, behind the scenes. You're building a library that positions you as the expert. Example, why most women don't enjoy their vacations and what I do differently in my planning process. Or here's another example, the 3 reasons I no longer do free consultations and what my clients get instead. That's not fluff, that's clarity. That's premium content. If your strategy is paid ads and funnels, which of course is my favorite, your content needs to drive clicks. You don't need to be a celebrity, you need to have a clear message. Every ad should speak to a problem, show a possibility, and offer a next step. Even if you're not running ads yet, this is how you need to think. Clarity sells, confusion costs, And finally, if your strategy is cold outreach, your content needs to support your pitch. If someone checks out your page after getting a DM from you, they better land on content that makes them feel like they're in the right place. Talk about the client you serve, the problem you solve, the results you create. Here's a good example. I don't plan travel for the masses. I plan travel for women who value their know what they want and don't have energy to waste. My clients don't chase deals, they invest in done for you clarity. That's positioning. And now your cold outreach doesn't feel so cold. Now, across all strategies, there are 3 content types I want you to focus on this week. 1, personal story content. Share why you do this, why this matters to you, the client you built your offer around. Here's an example of that. I started planning travel because my mom booked a trip once a year, but never enjoyed it. She was too busy coordinating. That's why my clients don't lift a finger. Here's another example. Process or service clarity content. Teach one small part of your process, not the destination, the process. Here's an example. Before I build any itinerary, I ask this one question: what do you need a break from? Because if we don't know that, we're just filling space. That's not premium. The third type of post is belief-driven content. Share what you believe about your service, your clients, and how travel should feel. Here's an example. I believe Black women deserve to be catered to without having to explain or apologize for their preferences. That's why I design my experiences with softness, ease, and flexibility at the center. You don't need 17 reels this week. You need 3 posts that build connection, clarify your offer, and make people lean in. Now, here's your challenge. Pick your top 2 content types, write 1 post for each, post it in the Travel CEO community, or go ahead and publish them publicly. And don't just wait for likes. This is content with a purpose. It's tied to your strategy, it's built around your offer, and it positions you as someone who knows what they're doing. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment and tell me, what content are you focusing on this week? And if you haven't joined the challenge yet, go to onlinetravelboss.com/CEO-challenge and catch up now, because week 3 is where we execute. No more planning, no more outlining. You've got the strategy, you've got the offer, now you've got the content. Let's go make it work. You're watching the 3-week Premium Client Challenge, where we don't just talk strategy, we implement. Join the challenge at onlinetravelboss.com/CEO-challenge. And if you're ready to build the full system behind your success, Foundations is the next step.